Hi, my name is Janelle and you're watching Everyday Jane, where I make homemade delicious food, often inspired by the Philippines. So today we're making coconut jam, so let's get started. So this coconut jam is the easiest thing you will ever make. It is so simple. There's basically just two ingredients, coconut cream as well as dark brown sugar. So there are a few other really small ingredients like salt and vanilla, but both are optional. This is just a matter of using really good coconut cream, some really yummy molassesy dark brown sugar, and letting it all come together. So let's start with these cans of coconut milk. So what I did to prepare these cans of coconut milk was put them in the fridge overnight, and that way you let the fats sort of separate. And what happens is you get the thicker, fattier part of the coconut milk right at the top. So as you can see, that's quite solid. And I'm gonna start scooping all of these solids straight into a cup measure because we want about 1 cup of coconut cream. I'm gonna continue to scoop. Ooh, this one's got a lot of cream. That's exciting. And what you're left with is something that looks like much more translucent, a lot more liquidy fluid rather than thick and creamy. So you need 1 cup of coconut cream and put it straight into your medium saucepan. So I'm using a saucepan that's a little bit high so that if there's a little bit of splatter, it doesn't get all over my kitchen. So in that coconut cream goes. And now for the other main ingredient. As I said, super simple. We're just going to be using some dark brown sugar. I'm using like a demerara. Let me know how to pronounce that in the comments below. Sugar, because it really just produces the best sort of color. If you can't find it, I've done this before. I've used just whatever brown sugar I can find and about 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of molasses, and that does the trick. So we need 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. So here we are, and then in that goes. Next is we're just going to melt that all together. Stovetop here, or my hot plate in this case, and we're gonna let it just dissolve the sugar and start to come to a boil. So let's put it at medium heat to start. So I'm going to mix these two up. That coconut cream was really cold, right? So I'm just gonna break it up. Mix everything together. As you can see, that brown sugar is already starting to melt. It smells so good. This coconut jam is amazing because it is gluten-free, dairy-free, but so creamy. So it's a great option for Christmas gifting to friends and family. I love little homemade gifts like homemade jams, and this is a really good one to gift. It's like an alternative to a caramel sauce. It is really just divine. Keep stirring until this comes to a boil. You can leave it for a bit. So cocoa jam in the Philippines is served in jars, and we put it on a lot of different things. You can put it on crackers. You can also use it as a filling for your pandesal, which I have a recipe for. I'll link it right up here. Filling for bread like pandesal, or even on crispy buttered toast, and then you spread the cocoa jam on. What else? Let's dream up some other ideas for coconut jam. Cocoa jam is the short form. That's what you often hear it called in the Philippines. I'm also actually going to show you how to use this in a Filipino dessert called bibingka. That's coming in a future video. This Christmas, I'm actually going to make thumbprint cookies and fill it with this jam. All right, so this is starting to come together after all that chatting. This coconut cream has started to come to a slight boil. At this point, I'm gonna lower it to kind of medium-low so that it's not bubbling and boiling ferociously, but there's just bubbles coming to the top, right? It's simmering. It's a strong simmer. And we're actually just going to leave it until it's thick and gooey. You want to stir it in between here and there just so that nothing really sticks. So keep your eye on it, but you could definitely get on with preparing dinner or whatever you need to do in the kitchen. We will come back when this is the perfect consistency that you're looking for. All right, everyone, I am back with my cocoa jam here. It's actually only been about 45 minutes, so this is perfect. Let me show you the texture of this. I'm actually taking it off the heat now. Look at that thick pour here. It's still hot, right? But look, it is this thick, dreamy caramel. And that is exactly what we want at this point. So to my pot of beautiful cocoa jam, I'm going to add a little bit of coconut oil, and this is going to add a little bit of a spreadable texture instead of like a syrupy texture. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of coconut oil straight to my pot here. You can immediately see that that coconut oil has changed the texture of this to be more like peanut butter rather than caramel, right? It's more of a spreadable consistency. That's an optional ingredient, but feel free to use it. It takes a little bit of elbow grease to mix in that coconut oil, but it's all worth it in the end. And the last 2 optional ingredients are just a little bit of vanilla. So I like about 2 teaspoons and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And mix that in. This is smelling so, so good. That vanilla, that salt is going to be that perfect counterbalance to all the sweet in here. I think we're ready. I think this is all done. And just let it cool slightly before you put it into any container. Today I'm going to use a jar to pour it in. This is probably gonna be a much too big of a jar. All my smaller jars were used, so I'm gonna use this jar. So happy, so excited that this is gonna be in my fridge. All right, this is still a bit warm, but I'm gonna already dig in. You can definitely chill it for a while. This keeps so well in your fridge for, I would say, 2 weeks. You can definitely get away with it. I'm going to be spreading it on my pain de sel here. Maybe a little more. Here we go. And look at that consistency for spreading. All right. So now I'm going to taste my coconut jam, my cocoa jam, and I'll let you know what I think. Whew, that is so nice. It is better, in my opinion, than any sort of store-bought jam, which can be kind of sickly sweet. This is not. It is just that perfect combination. I think that little bit of salt helps, and I think using a little bit less sugar than you would typically use, ratio-wise for a spread or jam, really helps. I love this. I can't wait to put it in my thumb brick cookies, but right now, I can't wait to eat the rest of this pain de sel with cocoa jam. Hopefully you try this out. If you do, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.